Good morning. Everybody happy and awake?
Well, we did.
Ready to rock and roll? It's like a movie. Glad you're all here. We had, I think Brandon said, close to 100 volunteers sign up, but we had 14 interns. And so I think most of you are here, and we're glad you're here. I'll introduce a few folks, but if you will bear with me, I will ask the Lord to bless our efforts together. Is that okay? God, thank you for another beautiful day, another day of life, another day to be part of your family. And we pray that you guide us, and inspire us, help us to tell your story, and help us to do it your way. Amen. Okay, my name is David Powers. I'm the culprit behind starting this thing. And it's been a wild and wonderful 5.5-year journey so far. If that sounds long to you, it took Spielberg 10 years to get Lincoln on the screen. So I feel like we're fast-tracking this thing. We have a number of folks who are part of our team that are here this morning, our department heads. And I'll just introduce them real quickly, and you'll have a chance to talk with them in more detail. But let me introduce them first. Ken Roy is one of our two producers, and Heather Waters is the other half of the producing team. At the power table over here, Pamela is the assistant location manager. Gloriana is first assistant director. Eric Hurt is our director of photography. Amy is way there. She's our prop person. And Richard, are you here yet? Richard Blankenship is our production designer. He will be here. Sasha is Sasha here?
She's coming late.
She's coming late. Sasha is our wardrobe person. And who else are we expecting from the keys? Ellen Andrusia is our production office coordinator. And okay, I probably forgot somebody. If I forgot your name, would you just raise your hand and say your name?
Julia's not on there, but she's set there.
Julia Dent, right, thank you, is our set decoration, set dresser. She's in charge of making it look pretty. And she couldn't be here today.
How about your wife?
What's her name? Deborah. Oh, and there's the other power table back there. Barbara Mate is the executive director of Bell Tower Pictures.
But it had nothing to do with making the movie. So if you have a question about making the movie, it's that power table.
She's in charge of raising the money.
Right.
So you run short of cash, you go see Barbara. A number of you here are volunteer team leaders, and delighted that you're part of the team. This is a big movie. I don't know if you really realize it. We've got 43 speaking roles, something in the neighborhood of 300 or more extras. I think the paid crew is something in the neighborhood of 35 or 40 folks. As I said, about 100 volunteers, 14 interns. So you're part of a pretty big filmmaking team here. And I hope you enjoy every minute of it. I plan to. Want us to have some fun together. So I'm going to hand it off to Ken Roy, our producer, who's going to say a few words, and then we'll hand it off to the next person. We'll play tag team here. Thank you for being here this morning.
I want to thank you all for coming out for this. It's a big project, and it's going to really work by having all the interns and volunteers to help us out. We're a low budget relative to any kind of movie that you go see on TV or big screen, but it's a great story. It's got a lot of enthusiasm, a lot of excited actors that have come out multiple times to audition, and so every actor that has read the script has just loved it. So it's going to look great. We've got some great locations picked out. We'll be using the First Baptist Church up in Ashland for about 2 weeks. So they've basically turned over the whole church facility to us, and we'll be in almost every room in that facility. So thank you so much for coming out. I hope that those of you that have come out will be able to spend some good, long, quality time with us. Days are going to be 12 hours long. And so for you college students, set your alarm clocks. For your high school students, set your parents' alarm clocks. And be prepared to work hard, but at the end of it, you'll really have an experience that you'll be proud of and look back on with great pleasure. So thank you much. Heather,
Don't hear from me later.
we're going to have a few words from Heather a little bit later about social media and the audience engagement section. Joanne is our first lady. She's the boss on the set.
Thank you everyone for being here. I had the chance to meet a couple of you over the past few days, and it's been a pleasure working with you. We know that a lot of you are taking time off your schedules, your jobs to be with us, and it means really the world. As David has mentioned, this is a project of passion, of faith, and it's really nice to have a team like you guys, so inspired and so ready to get to work. And we have plenty of work to give you, so don't worry about that, because we have plenty of things for everybody to do. So what we're going to do this morning is we wanted to, we have seen your resumes, we have seen your applications, so we wanted to match everybody with the department that might be best suited for them. So today we have a great opportunity because we have most of our departments heads here, so we'll be able to match you with the department head that might be able to guide you a little bit and see if you're a good fit for what they do. Sometimes we have obviously more than 1, 2, 3 people interested in the same area. So we'll let our department heads that are here today kind of have an idea of how many people they actually need on set. They'll make a decision, and whoever doesn't end up in that department, we have plenty of other positions and opportunities that are very exciting for you guys to help us with. So what we'll do is, we have a list right here of everybody by area. If you guys want to come table by table, maybe in an organized fashion over here to me, I'll let you know which area you might be better for. So just so you guys know, we got Amy right there. Can you raise your hand? She's going to be seeing set deck, props, and I guess
I can take Reggie.
makeup. Okay, we'll have hair and makeup, wardrobe. Sasha's here yet? No? Everybody that I tell you, if I tell you that you might be assigned to either hair and makeup, wardrobe, set decoration, or props, please head over to Amy at that table. And Amy, can you raise your hand one more time? That is Amy. So you guys will go there. If I say production office or production area, you can go to Ellen. And well, you have your people already sorted out. So to Ellen, the green shirt. If we say camera department, we have Eric right here. Here's our director of photography. All right, so he'll be in that table over there. If we say locations, we have Pamela right here. So she's going to pick a table right way on the back, so you can head over to Pamela. If we say AD department, that will be with me. We also have a few people that might be good for security, and we know we have our security ahead of, okay, great. So we can send you over to the gentleman over there. Can you raise your hand again? Great, perfect, thank you so much. And if there's anybody that I'm missing, I'll let you know once we start seeing our list. So, catering and craft services. So we have Deborah, if you can raise your hand. There, okay.
And Joyce. Joyce is right here.
Okay, Deborah and Joyce are there. So if you want to stay in that table, we'll send people over your way there. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to do a quick meet and greet. We want you guys to connect.
And we have craft services.
Oh yeah, where's craft services? I'm sorry.
With Rachel Latches.
Okay, perfect. So with Rachel, everybody, if it says craft services, go ahead and take your seat. All right? Everybody else stay please, because now our real orientation for the morning begins. So we're going to talk a little bit about things related to set and set work. So if department heads are ready, We'll give you a few minutes, and if not, please head over to David. And everybody else, please stay. I'm going to start with an orientation. All right, guys. Let's raise your hand if you have ever been in something related to film, television, or media. Please raise your hand. All right. Okay, great. Raise your hand if you have been related to anything, any acting for radio, television, film. Okay? Raise your hand if you have no idea how a movie is made and have absolutely no experience. All right. Okay, great. Excellent. So we know that most of you are going to be available to join us for the entirety of our production. We know that most of you, we hope, will be able to be with us for 4 weeks. So we just wanted to give you a little bit of information related to working on set. And this is for everybody. So what we're going to talk about today are really important guidelines that we want you guys to follow. We are completely so thankful that you guys are going to be with us, but of course you're going to be treated as a real crew member, as a real part of our crew. So we're going to expect everybody to behave and to know at least the basics of the work that we do. So let's start by talking a little bit about what the departments are, so everybody's on the same page. When we think of movies, the first person that we all think about is the director. I think that's an easy one, and I know even those of you who have never been in a film know what the director does, right? Basically, their job is to put their vision into images. So they're the person that is constantly thinking about how the movie is going to look like, what the performances are going to be like, and they're the head of our team. In this case, our director is David Powers, who you met at the beginning, and he's going to be working with our actors for the most part. Our job is to let him work with his actors and realize his vision. So just to explain to you guys a little bit about who works for the director, I am the first assistant director, so I work with David and I run the set. So on the day, I'm going to be taking care of keeping time, taking care of organizing everything we need to do on our day to get our scenes done for that day. Because every day we show up knowing what we should be able to accomplish. So some days we're going to have to shoot 5 scenes, some days we're going to have to shoot 3 scenes, some days we're going to do moving from one location to another, and that's logistically complicated, but we have a great team here, and we have transportation, security, a lot of people that are going to be on top of all of that. So with me, as a second assistant director, we're going to have somebody else. His name is Dylan Fraser. He's not here today, but you'll see him at what we call base camp. So you guys have an idea. We have the set, which is the area where the movie is taking place. We're shooting the actual scene. So in this example, let's say that we're shooting a scene right here in this room. We have cameras, we have light, we have everything set up. This is what we call our set. Set is where the action is taking place, where the actors, the directors, and the cameras are. Outside the set, what we have what we call base camp. So whenever you feel base camp, think about a place outside of set. Probably in this case, we might put base camp on the parking lot. That's where we have like our staging area. We have more of our office people over there. We have the actors that are waiting to be called in over there. It's a separate area of set that is more of a free area. It's easier to be at base camp than it is to be on set. The people that are on set are only the people that need to be on set. And we want to stress on that because, of course, we all want to be around the action and we want to see the cameras and the fun stuff happening. But in reality, set is a very limited space because we need to get our scenes done. We have to keep our actors concentrated. So most of you might spend most of the time at base camp or around set. And the person that is managing base camp is called the second assistant director of second AD. And after that, we're going to have a lot of PAs in my department. We're going to have a lot of people helping out with different tasks. What is one of the most important things a PA or production assistant does that is working with the directing department? If we're shooting a scene here and say we're shooting a woman that is giving a conference, once we're rolling, sound is going to have a microphone of me, and let's say in this scene somebody raises their hand and they ask a question, they're going to have a microphone of that person. So sound is very important. It's very important for all of us to keep in mind that when we're shooting, it needs to be completely quiet. Because these microphones that we're using are professional microphones, they're very expensive, and they're able to pretty much catch any sound you could imagine. So even if we have somebody pulling into the parking lot, slamming on their car door, we might be able to hear it. So that's why we put base camp far away, or not too far, but in a different location than set. And I also have a team of people, the PAs of my department, I'm gonna place them strategically outside of set to be able to tell you guys when we're rolling. And the way that works is I'm here working with the director, and the director is gonna say, okay, I'm ready, my actors are ready. And I'm gonna say, okay, great, roll camera. Our director of photography is gonna say, rolling, and I'm gonna repeat on my radio, rolling. That is something that all of my PAs, and we have some of the people that are gonna be doing that here, the PAs are gonna repeat it and they're gonna yell it. So you're gonna hear all of a sudden, at the same time, every time I say rolling in here, I'm gonna have people placed outside and they're gonna repeat it and they're gonna say rolling. When you hear rolling, that means please be quiet, because everything is at that moment recording. Our cameras are recording, our sound is recording, and we're getting our scene at that moment. When the scene is ready, or the take is ready, the director says, okay, cut. And I'm gonna repeat it on my radio, cut. And all the PAs around the set are gonna yell, cut. When you hear cut, then you can start talking again. Obviously, even if we're not rolling at the moment, we don't want anybody to be yelling, to be screaming, or things like that. So always, even if we're not rolling, try to keep your voice at a decent level. And be very mindful, because a movie set is it's unlike any place you've ever seen. It's a very delicate, organized operation. So you guys will get to see it firsthand, which is a great opportunity. On another department, we have the producer, which is Ken Roy, who you guys also met this morning. Ken has a team, a production coordinator, and people that are mostly working to get the movie made. They take care of money, they take care of budget, they take care of organization. And under production, we have also 4 major departments. We have transportation, and transportation helps, again, get things done. Do we need actors to be transported from the hotel to the set? That's transportation. We need our equipment. We're gonna change scenes, and instead of here, we're gonna go shoot downtown somewhere else. Transportation is a big logistics operation, and it needs to also work as fast, as efficiently, and safely as possible. Also part of the production area, we have our office staff. We have some of the people here that are going to help with that. That's also key. There's a lot of communication between the production office, the set, and base camp. Sometimes we need a contract for an actor. Sometimes we need to buy something really quick. Sometimes we need to give somebody a copy of the script. And all of these are things that somebody needs to take care of, somebody responsible, somebody efficient, and that's our production office department. And then we have locations. Locations is a group of people that takes care of the places where we shoot. So if we were working and shooting a scene right here in this room, locations will be in charge of coordinating with the church members, letting them know we're going to be shooting here. And once we're finished, locations takes care of leaving the place better than we found it. That's always going to be our motto. Like, if you are shooting somewhere, make sure you leave that place nicer, cleaner, and better than you found it. So locations also a lot of good work in terms of coordinating logistics. And also they help us know every morning where we're going to park. So if you're going to be a background extra or a crew member, remember every morning that locations is going to have a very detailed plan for you. So whenever you show up to a location every morning, look for the signs that say crew parking, or extras parking, or cast parking. And please be mindful every day, because they take their job very seriously, and every single day they will tell you where to park. Why is it important to know where to park? Well, because your car might be in our shot, and we don't want that. So if we're shooting, I know we're going to be doing a little work down in Petersburg. We're going to see some shots of a train going by and a car going by. So that's an example of a moment where it's important for you guys when you show up that morning to park wherever locations tells you to park, because they know ahead of time which direction we're going to be looking at and which direction is clear for us to do parking the big trucks, parking catering, parking everybody. So please, every morning when you show up to set, be looking for the signs for your appropriate parking. And then also part of production, we have catering and craft services, and that's another area that it's a big one. We're gonna have sometimes 100, 200 people on set, so this is the department that takes care of feeding everybody, basically. They have to be very organized, they have to be, they need all the help they can get, so we're trying to give them as many people as we can, but their job is to feed everybody at a particular hour. And here I want to talk to you about time. When we work in movies, we have every minute schedule. It's not a flexible thing, it's quite the opposite. Movies, in particular movies that are smaller, that have lower budgets, really cannot afford to say we didn't get the movie in the 4 weeks. It's impossible for us to say, oh, let's do 1 more week of work. Because 1 more week of work is thousands and thousands of dollars that we obviously do not have. So the way we work around that is we really schedule every single minute of the day. Since the moment you guys show up to when we eat, how long our lunch is going to be, and when we have to be back on set working. So that's another thing that might be different than some of the jobs that we have or that you guys might have in the normal world, that you have a little more flexibility and you're like, oh, I'm going to take 5 more minutes on lunch and then I'm going to go back to work, or I'm going to take a break. This is a little bit different, and sadly is very by the book. So what we try to do every day, and this is part of the rules that come from the union world, the big movies that have all these unions for actors, for camera, for directors, for crew, for everybody, is we'll try to eat 6 hours every day after call time. What we call call time is the time you have to be on set. It's not the time you have to be arriving and getting off your car, it's the time you have to be there ready to go. So, what we're gonna do every day is we're gonna send you guys a call sheet, what we call a call sheet. You're gonna receive it via email. The call sheet will tell you every day what we're gonna be working on the next day. So it's gonna have our location, it's gonna have the address of the location, it's gonna have a phone number of a person that you can call if you get lost or if you need more information. It's going to have the scenes that we're going to be shooting that day. So if you're working with our department or one of the departments that is on set, please take a look at that carefully the day before, so you know, oh, we're going to shoot a scene in a kitchen and then in a dining room, and we're going to need a special wardrobe for this person, because all the important things that you might need to keep in mind are going to be in the call sheet. The call sheet is one of our main tools for working in an organized and effective way. So again, you're going to have you're even going to have weather information in the call sheet. You're going to know if it's going to rain. You're going to know, again, which actors are going to be working, what scenes we're going to be shooting, where we're going to be working at. And normally, the call sheet is also sent along with a map. Open this map every day, because sometimes what we write down as an address for the set is not the same as the address for the crew parking. For example, we're going to be shooting at a house, in a private neighborhood, and I know those people can't really have 50 cars in their driveway. So in that case, that day we're going to be parking at a church nearby, and then we're going to be transporting people back and forth from the church to the house. So that's an example of something that will be on the call sheet. So when you open your call sheet, make sure you open the map and check out where it says crew parking, and that's where you're going to leave your car, and we'll take care of transporting you to set. Some other days you'll be able to park directly on set. So we were shooting a scene here because we have all this space, so you might be able to actually park here. And again, that will be very clearly marked both in the spot and on your call sheet. Your call sheet also has, the most important thing it has is a list of everybody that is working and the time that they're supposed to be on set. So, and it's divided by departments. So it's gonna say, props, John Smith, call time, 6 a.m. Hair and makeup, Susan Adams, call time, 6:30 a.m. We have different call times sometimes for people depending on what they need to do that day. So please go and find your name, specifically your name every day, and see when your call time is. And that's again the time that you're supposed to be ready to go. It's not the time you're supposed to be obviously leaving your house or just driving in. It's the time you're supposed to be ready to go. And every day, of course, you will report to your department head, and they will tell you what the work for the day is going to be. So call sheet is very important, and that's also on the call sheet we might have our time for lunch. Because we work with radios and a lot of communication within all the departments, you will be informed every day when we're breaking for lunch. And that might vary. Some days it's going to be exactly 6 hours after call time. Some days it might be a little bit later, but we always try to keep it within that time frame because we know people need to eat, and of course it's in all of our best interest to have people happy, fed, and energetic, of course. So safety is also very important, and happiness is even more important. So we can have people happy and excited and fed and full. That would be great. All right. Then we have another department that is led by the production designer, and the production designer is the person that helps the director achieve the look that they want. So if this was an old movie, or we were shooting right now something that needs to have an older looking style, then the production designer is going to say, okay, maybe, or this is a period piece. Okay, they're going to say it's 1820, great. This is the style of clothing that people wore. This is the style of wallpaper, of colors that they had in the walls. This is the style of carpet that was used in 1820. And that person leads the art department into creating that vision. And we have a few people here that are going to be helping our department. So that department has set decoration, and set decoration is the group of people that basically create the look of the set. So in this case, they would know if those things are there, it's because they would have put them there. If we have these chandeliers, because set decoration wanted them there. Anything that you see on the set. And then that brings another very important point. What can we touch on set? And the answer is nothing. You can't really, if you show up somewhere, if we're shooting at a house, and say you walk in the living room and it looks really nice, and you see this framed picture, and you feel the temptation of checking it out, or checking something out, touching it, moving it, please do not do it. Believe it or not, every single thing you see on a set is there for a particular reason. It's placed there by the professional set decoration department, or the props department. Sometimes what we call props is the things that the actors interact with. Props are the objects that an actor touches. So if in this movie that we're using as an example, I am here and I'm going to be holding my notebook and I'm going to be going through the pages, this is a prop. And props are only meant to be touched by art department, prop department, or the actors, because that's the objects that the actors are going to be interacting with. Again, maybe you show up and there's nobody there, you're like, oh, why is this not misplaced here? I'm going to go ahead and put it somewhere else, I'm going to take it to the office people. Do not do it. Everything that you see on set is there for a reason. And like I said, set is a little more of a restricted area because of things like that, because we want to keep things in their place and to help the art department do their job. So we also have the wardrobe department, and wardrobe, of course, takes care every morning of getting our actors ready, same as hair and makeup. Hair, makeup, and wardrobe have a very difficult task because some days, or most days, we are really just expecting the actors to be completely ready so we can have them over on set and we can shoot. So if you see people, wardrobe department, moving racks around or carrying things, please be mindful and give them some space to go. And that's also another thing that is important for you guys to know on set. We have to be very careful. A few recommendations that are really more like requirements. Please never use open shoes. Always, as if you are working, use closed-toed shoes. This is a thing of safety, and it's not only for comfort, but it's for safety. As you're going to see on set, we're going to have a lot of equipment. We're going to have a lot of electrical things. We're going to have cables. We're going to have lights. We're going to have stands. And as you know, as a safety measure, we ask everybody every single day, do not wear open shoes on set. You might be, these things are rare, but you might trip on a cable, you might have, risk of being electrocuted or things like that. Because a set is not the safest place in the world, but we take all the precautions to make it as safe as we can. But there's a lot of equipment laying around and a lot of things that might be dangerous. So number one safety thing, the first thing I would say is definitely wear closed shoes. Also, because we're shooting in the summer, please, if you can every day, make sure you have sunscreen. Some of these locations are going to be outside, so you can also carry some bug spray with you. We are going to have a set medic on set every single day. So if you feel that if you think you're not feeling very well, if you're feeling dizzy, dehydrated, or anything, we're going to have a set medic on set every day. And they're going to be switching day by day, but they're going to be properly. They're going to be wearing something that will identify them. So if you need a set medic any day, either ask me or as one of the PAs that are going to be, those people that are going to be always stays outside of set with their headsets and their radios. You are welcome to talk to them anytime if you need anything, if you need to find a set medic, or if you're not feeling well, or if you feel somebody else is having trouble, please report and look for a set medic.
Lori,
Yes.
you mentioned the shoes. Is there any other requirement for clothing?
No.
No dress code or?
No, the dress code is completely casual because this is the summer. You're welcome to bring shorts, to bring short sleeve shirts, anything you feel that might make you more comfortable, that's completely fine. It's just the shoes because of everything that we have on the floor. And also, again, it's because it's easier to walk if you have to if you're carrying heavy things, it also, if you're wearing sandals, it also makes it a little bit of a higher risk of tripping or things like that. So no, the only really clothes requirement that we ask you guys to follow is the shoes. Yes.
I just thought of this. What about restroom facilities?
Restroom facilities, that's also part of locations. The locations department will go to every location ahead of time and they're going to mark parking and they're also going to be marking restrooms. So, and that's a good question because sometimes we are going to have just one restroom that we can use. If we're in a very nice fancy house by the river or somewhere else, we don't, sometimes the families request only one restroom to be, and we're going to be shooting in several houses, private houses. We want to respect the families, we want to take care of their houses, so we don't want to be all over the house, and that's also part of locations. If there's an area of a location that is restricted, it will be marked. So say we're in a house and we're just shooting in the living room. It's very likely that the family or the locations department would decide, okay, we're going to make all the bedrooms off limits because we don't want 50 people roaming around the house. Some people are in the bedroom, some people are in the patio. So we will have clearly marked areas, and in every location there's going to be at least one restroom allocated for us. So locations will mark it with a clear sign, crew restroom or restroom, and it's going to be marked. And if you have questions about it, you can always ask one of the PAs that you'll see on set around. If you're not sure, because like I said before, we want to leave places nicer and better than we found them. So always ask, and if you don't see the signs, ask somebody. But yeah, we will definitely take care of that, and that's one of the major things in every location. Even if we're working outside, for example, Petersburg, and we're shooting a lot of exteriors, we will have probably a nearby coffee house, a nearby restaurant that has previously agreed to be our restroom location. So again, location department will have that clearly marked, and you guys will always have a restroom close by. Good question. All right, moving on to our next department. We have the camera department. That is something that also it's a little easier to understand for all of us, because when we think of movies, we think of cameras, we think of equipment. That department is led by the director of photography. In our case, his name is Eric Hurd, and he was sitting on that table over there. Eric has 3 groups of people that he works with. He's got a gaffer, and the gaffer is the person in charge of handling lights and designing light positions. So again, in our example, if I'm working here, I'm talking to you in our scene of a movie, the DP, the director of photography, is going to decide with the director where the camera is going to be placed. So say in this example, they want to put it here next to me. And our gaffer is going to be the person that decides with the director of photography where the lights are going to be placed. So he's going to say, okay, we're going to put a light in front of her, right in front, and a light behind, and a bouncing board. And you'll see they have a truck full of equipment. So lighting is one of our most important departments. And again, of course, if you're not part of the camera department, please do not move their equipment. If you need to go through if this is a light stand, for example, and you need to get through, please ask one of the PAs or somebody. Do not touch, don't feel like you can just move it out of the way. Because again, it's there for a reason. Everything that's on set is there for a reason. So if you have questions at any time, just ask somebody before you move anything. So you'll see a lot of cables, a lot of equipment laying around. With the gaffer, we have the Best Boy Electric, and that's the person that takes care of running power to set. And that's another important thing for you guys to know. We really not, we have a generator that we use for our lights and for powering our equipment. We try not to use the power of the houses or the locations, because our equipment really uses a lot of power. So most of the times we're going to be using our own source of energy, or our own source of power, and that is one of the things that you have to be very mindful. Sometimes they look like a big box in the ground
full of cables, very thick cables. Again, every time you're walking in or around set, please always look where you're stepping. Make sure that you're not tripping on cables because they're gonna be all over the place. And with the Best Way Electric, we have the electrics, and they work with them, and they're the guys that are hooking connections to our external source of power or to our what we call house power, which is the power that we already have in the location. They are obviously the only ones that should be touching cables or electrical equipment, obviously. If you need to plug your phone or any of your devices, please ask somebody before you do so, because sometimes they will go to a location, and because of the balance of the power that they're doing, they have a specific place that they know that we can use for powering our devices. So you need to plug your phone. Please ask somebody where is the best place. And again, when I say ask somebody, I mean our PAs that you're gonna meet on the first day of production. So you're gonna know who are people that might be able to always answer your questions. But please check before you plug your devices, because sometimes we are not supposed to use some of the plugs because they're being used for something else. And then we have the camera operator. The camera operator is the person that you're always going to see next to the camera. I think it goes without saying that the cameras that we're using are expensive. If one of those cameras falls down, it's okay if the camera person did it, but of course, we wouldn't want anybody to commit an accident, being rushing through set, and then you touch the camera, or you bumped against the camera, falls down, breaks into pieces, thousands and thousands of dollars. So of course, when you see cameras, be very mindful, walk around the cameras or walk through the areas that are marked for you to walk around. The cameras are going to be handled by our first AC, so if you hear first AC, that means our first assistant camera. They're the person in charge of building the camera every day and pulling focus, so they're always going to be next to the camera. They work with somebody else called the second AC, the second assistant camera, and their job is to help change lenses. They work also with the memory cards of the cameras, and they also slate. So they're the people that are going to be saying, scene one, take one. You're going to hear mark it, and they slate it. Those guys are going to be running around set, because every time they mark a scene, they'll probably run to get out of the way, so they're not in the scene. So if you see somebody, also give them some space to go, because they need to find a place to hide out of the scene. And then we also have our DIT, which is the person that takes care of every day we'll be shooting digitally. This is a movie that will be shot digitally. So sadly, we won't have any real film reels like the ones you've seen normally. This is going to be the new technology, the digital technology that is catching up to the quality of film, celluloid. So we basically will be shooting in little cards, memory cards, and those are basically the most important thing in the entire set, but that's the movie. So we have a DIT, and the person is in charge of every couple of hours, they're going to be grabbing the camera, the little camera cards, the memory cards, and they're going to be offloading all that material into a computer. So you're going to see that person on set. They're always going to be either at base camp or around set with a computer, with their station. Every couple of hours, they're going to be offloading everything into their hard drives. Again, please be careful around them with your drains, with your water, with tripping with cables, unplugging their computer, because that's the movie and that's extremely important. And to complete that department of camera department and light, we have the grips, and the grips are the guys that are led by the key grip, what we call the key grip, and they are the guys that handle all the heavy equipment. They're going to be moving light stands, what we call apple boxes, which are the big wooden boxes that we use to place equipment. Again, if you are on a round set and you see the grips working, please be mindful and try not to be in their way. If you see they're taking things out of the truck and they're going straight into set, try to identify, always think ahead of time, you can identify what kind of route they're walking through and clear that path. So you can go around somewhere else, or you can be mindful, because sometimes they're in a hurry, sometimes they're very much into their jobs carrying these heavy things. So try and be, every time you're on set or around set, always be looking at what's happening around you and how you can be of help. In this case, if you see the grips working, just, move a little bit out of the way, or just be mindful of which direction they're walking and what might be the best path for you to take into set. And finally, to complete explaining a little bit about the departments, we have the editor of the film, and that person really comes on board after our movie is shot, and they're the person that builds that movie with our director. And that process takes months. In our case, it's going to take around, I think, 5 to 6 months to actually edit the film, color it, and work on the sound. So that should give you a general idea for all of you who don't really have experience in movies about what can you expect on set. So basically, when you show up every day, what you're gonna see is a bunch of people working hard. And what we want to accomplish is for everybody to know what they're supposed to do that day. That's why we're splitting you into departments, and that's why we wanted you guys today to meet your department heads. So once you show up to set, you're gonna have guidance of where to go. Because as you'll see, you show up, and it's in that second we're gonna start working. And it's very nice once you see a whole group of 50, 60 people, everybody busy working every day. It's wonderful. So it's a really cool job. So to finish my part of the presentation, I'm going to tell you a little bit about the do's and don'ts on set. This is something that David, our director, wanted me to talk to you guys about. So again, if you are familiar or you're not familiar with the work on set, at least you have a general idea of the things that we advise to do and we advise against. And these again are things that all of our industry people have known for years, but it's good for everybody to know if you're starting out. Don'ts. Please do not touch any equipment that is not from your department. I said it before, but it's worth saying it again. Sorry, you have a question? Okay. So yeah, so if you are with wardrobe, of course you can touch wardrobe. That's your job, and your department head will probably tell you, hey, let's bring these coats to set or back or whatever. But if you're with wardrobe, of course, do not touch any electric cables or anything that's not from your department. Another one important one, and this sounds kind of harsh, but I have to say it because it's part of our routine. Don't talk to the director. Why not? The director is in a very, very difficult state of mind. They're thinking about the actors, the scene, and they're surrounded by 60 people carrying things, running around, talking to each other. My job is, one of the most important things of my job is make sure that, in this case, David has his little bubble of peace, tranquility, and concentration to work with his actors. So you please don't show up. I know it's tempting to be like, oh, I'm gonna go say, hey, how's it going today, David? Good? So how's that scene? What are you thinking for this scene? Are you thinking they're gonna cry? Are you thinking they're gonna laugh? I know this is an exaggerated example, but I think it's good to say it because some of you might feel tempted to chat with David or ask David. Another thing that David commented on was, a lot of you are here because of David, because you know David and Deborah. So I know he's been coordinating a lot of things directly with you. So after today, please start communicating with your department heads, because they are there for you and that's their job. And stop communicating with David, because of course, imagine he's the director and he can be getting emails about crafty, about catering, about this and that, transport. So that's why production department is there. So let's let David make his movie with peace. And even if it's chaos everywhere, I deal with the chaos and we let David deal with the nice bubble of peace with his actors. So don't talk to the director. Same goes with the actors. If you're seeing an actor getting ready and you feel tempted to, hey, how's it going? So are you ready for your scene? Do you know your lines? No. Their actors have, they're concentrating in their lines. Some days we're going to shoot 5 pages of script in a row, so that they really have a lot of things to memorize. Let them have their own moment. Let them concentrate. Let them be in their actor world. Of course, if we're eating lunch and you're sitting next to an actor and they talk to you, of course that's appropriate. I think you can use your own judgment of when is it good to talk to the actors and when it's not. But if we're having lunch and everybody's talking to each other and getting to know each other, that's completely fine. But once we're working, please try not to talk to the actors, unless you have to. Another important thing, and it's one of our #1 rules, please don't be late. I think after you heard all this explanation about our departments and the way we work, one of the most important things is to be punctual every day. So please never be late. If you see that your call time is 6 a.m., of course, try to be there 5-10 minutes earlier. Sometimes, like I said, it's a little complicated to know where you're supposed to park. So sometimes, let's say we're shooting in a neighborhood, and like the example I gave before, we're actually parking at a church. So if you see on your call sheet that the parking is going to be at a different location, please allocate more time that day so you can park and you can be on set ready to go at 6 a.m., which is your call time. So that's very important. Never, 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 never please be late. Another important thing that has to do with locations is don't litter, of course. Treat every place as if it was your own house. I know that one of the most frequent things that happens is leaving water bottles around. I've seen it time and time again, and we talk about it, and it still happens. Sometimes, especially because we're shooting in the summer, you're gonna be drinking your water, and you're gonna be thinking about your next task or the next thing you need to do, you're gonna put it somewhere, and then you're gonna go and you're gonna forget about it. So please be mindful of your water bottles, not only because we're leaving trash in our location, but because we're wasting resources. And we want, if you have a water bottle, please finish it, make sure that you drink the whole bottle, and then you find trash bin. And again, locations department is always gonna be mindful of that. They're always gonna have to, you always see trash cans around set and basement. So there's always gonna be a clear place for you guys to put your trash. Again, if we're at somebody's house, or any location that we might be working at, please remember to take care of your trash. And of course, if you see trash on the ground that you know is trash at base camp, in the base camp area, and you feel like I'm gonna pick it up and have locations, you can do that. Once we are on set, of course, don't do that because maybe that trash is there for a reason and that's part of the scene, you know. But please take care of the locations as if they were your own house or your own space. And last, in terms of the don'ts, do not go into set unless you're invited. Some of you guys, depending on your department, might be going to set more or less. And when it's time for you guys to go to set, you'll be told. So if you have some people from the art department or props department and you're told, hey, can you bring me that guitar for the next scene? Of course, go to set because you have a task that requires going to set. But if you are helping in another department, if you're helping in transportation and you're doing something that's related to transport and you don't need to be on set, please just stay with your department or around the area that you're supposed to be. And that's going to help us keep the set very nice, quiet, and controlled for our work. So those are our don'ts, and now we can talk about something more positive, which is our do's, things that you can actually do on set to finish up. So the first thing that you can do and that we encourage is to communicate. Please always communicate. If you have a question, if you have anything you don't know, and of course we're expecting you guys to have a lot of questions because some of you have never been in a movie set, please feel free to ask our PAs, the people that you see with the headsets and that will introduce the first day of work. They're there to answer your questions. If you don't know, if you say you have to go through that door and there's somebody stationed at that door with a radio, of course communicate and say, hey, can I go through? Are they shooting? They're always going to know what's happening, so they will be able to inform you of everything that's happening at all times. So communicate. If you have questions within your department, ask your departments, and that's part of the real nice opportunities that you guys have being volunteers and interns because you are working with industry professionals in all your departments. So take that chance to learn. If our department, you need to know about color palettes or about anything, take that chance to communicate and learn if you have questions because that's what you guys are here for. You're here to help us, but we're hoping that you guys can also get something out of this and learn and leave this production being a better film professional. So that's take advantage of that opportunity to communicate and ask all the questions that you like. Of course, follow instructions. We'll try to put everything very clear for you where to park, where to go to the restroom, when are we going to eat, all of that. Please keep silence as much as you can. Like we talked before, it's important, even if we're not rolling, try and keep it as low as you can. Like I said before, please take care of your security and your safety. Wear sunscreen, hydrate, bug spray, all of that. If you see anything that might be dangerous, please report it. Of course, if you see any danger around you, go ahead and report it. Maybe it's not dangerous, but it doesn't hurt if you guys report it to somebody. That's really it. In terms of things that we want you guys to do, the last one that I would say is have fun as much as you can. It's stressful work, it's crazy hours, but we really want you guys to have fun, to enjoy what you're doing, to learn, take advantage of the opportunity. And we want you guys to live after 4 weeks feeling like you were part of a movie. And then when you go see the movie in the theater, you're going to feel proud that your job is reflected there. Whatever you're doing, even if you think something little, it's not little. Everything you do, everything you guys do, it's big and it's helping the greater movie. So, you can feel proud of what you did with us and you can feel proud when you go to the theater and you see our movie. So that's it. If anybody have any questions, yes?
What is your expectation for it to be in the movie theater?
Well, that's a David question, I guess. What's the expectation? When would it be in theaters, you mean, and how it's going to be distributed?
Yeah, a year, 2 years, what do you think?
Probably first quarter of next year.
Thank you.
Mhm. Anything else? Anybody? Questions, comments? Yes?
You mentioned that the PAs will be having headsets. Will there be headsets for the rest of the members of the other departments?
So I think we have 30? So we have a total of 30 radios. Every department is going to allocate their radios accordingly. Are you in our department?
Yes.
You might have a radio probably, depending if your department head needs you to be going back and forth, you might be one of those people that might get a radio, yes. And that's a good question, how to talk on the radio. If any of you get radios, there is also a protocol for speaking on the radio in a set. And it's very simple. Basically, you identify who you are and you say who you want to talk to. We are going to have different channels on the radios for the departments. Normally we have channel 1, we have production and ADs, which is all of us. Transportation normally has a separate channel on the walkies because they're going to be constantly talking about some other things. So art, production, and most departments are always going to be on channel 1. And basically, if I need to talk to Ken about something, I'm going to say, glory for Ken on the radio. I'm going to talk on my walkie and say, glory for Ken. And Ken is going to reply, go for Ken. Once you understand something, you're going to say, copy, or copy that if you want. That's the fastest and easiest way to talk on the radio. Because if I say, hey, it's Gloriana, I'm looking for Ken, is Ken around, can Ken hear me? That took a long time, and we all are going to be communicating about different things. So the shortest and fastest way to talk is glory for Ken, glory for Sam, glory for Brandon, go for Glory. Hey, Glory, can you come to the door because we have an actor? Yes, copy that, get in there. So try to keep it very short, very simple, very brief, very clear on the radio, and try to obviously pronunciate as much as you can. Sometimes we have static depending on how far we are from each other. So that's a little bit of the basic etiquette for radio. Anything else? Mm-hmm?
Should we leave our cell phones at home?
No. You can bring your cell phone to set. Cell phones are the necessary tool for communication. All we ask is when you show up to set, put it on silence. It can still be on. Sometimes if you're exactly inside the set, the sound department claims that interferes with their catching their signal.
That's my question.
Yes. So if you are inside the set, like if we were shooting right here with the camera and the sound, the boom right here, we might ask you, and we'll tell you guys, we might ask you to just turn them off altogether. But if you are working at base camp or somewhere around set, you're welcome to have it on, just on silence at all times, of course. But yeah, we need them because not everybody's getting a radio. So of course, if you need to talk to somebody from your department or somebody needs to get a hold of you, you need your cell phone. Yes. Yes.
Will we have a list, or a lot of folks have asked if Wi-Fi would be available on the set because they wanted to work while they were there.
Yes.
So will we be able to get a list of places that we do have access to Wi-Fi?
Yes. Yes. We could include it in the call sheet, I guess. What do you think, Ken?
I'll work on that.
Okay. So we're working on that, and we are aware that a lot of you guys have work that you might be able to take care of while we're on the set, or need to be communicated. Normally, we always try to have Wi-Fi on every set, but because it's a production thing, we can't say that we're working on that, so we'll definitely let you guys know. Yes.
Thank you.
Mhm. Anything else? Questions, comments? Yes.
You mentioned lunch. Will the food be provided like today, or should we bring our own?
Food will be provided every day. Yes. Yes, of course, we have, like we mentioned before, 12-hour days, so we don't expect you guys to give us 12 hours of your time and then buy your own food. So, yeah, lunch will be provided every day for everybody, of course. Yes?
Just clarifying, lunch is going to be provided, but will there be breakfast provided at the beginning of the day, or do we need to allocate time for that before we come?
No breakfast? No breakfast, but we're going to have craft services. And that's a good thing that I should mention. There's a difference between catering and craft services. Catering is our lunch team and the people that are going to be in charge of our heavy lunch, which is, like I said before, usually 6 hours into the day after call time. And we're all going to go to lunch, and we're going to sit down and have, normally it's 30 to 45 minutes, depending on when the last person goes through the line, because it's a big line, it's like a buffet style type of lunch. Lunch is going to be handled by the catering team, And then besides that, we're gonna have the craft services table, which is, that I think is the team over there. Craft is one of the most important things in the entire set, because that's a table that is gonna be set up all the time, since call time. We're gonna have snacks and drinks at what we call crafting, or the craft services table. So we won't have breakfast per se, but if every morning you wanna come get maybe, I don't know, if they're gonna have bananas or snacks or granola bar and a water and an orange juice or something like that. That's the type of thing you'll find at Crafty. And Crafty is normally at base camp, whatever we set base camp every day, and it's available for the whole time. So even if after lunch you're feeling hungry and you want a coffee or you want a water, you can go to the craft services table and you're gonna find something to eat there. So there's always gonna be something to be snacking to keep you guys going. Yes?
Yeah, one more question on the thing of lunch. You said lunch is after 6 hours in.
Yeah.
If we go overtime, like to 14 hours, will another meal be provided after another 6 hours? Or
The second meal. Okay. Well, producer just said we're not going to overtime, so.
Okay.
Well, yeah, I guess there's a little bit of a difference. We're trying to follow most of the normal rules. We're gonna try and be, depending on the day, there might be a little bit of flexibility. So we always are going to try to schedule lunch 6 hours after call time exactly. But sometimes we're gonna go a little bit more flexible. And remember, it's a non-union job, so we have the space to be a little more flexible with those type of rules. But for us, it's very important to have everybody happy and everybody fed, so we will try to respect it as much as we can. And so if we go over that next 6 hours, well, I think it's just not gonna happen. So let's count on that not happening, and if it does, production will give us the answer at the moment. But if we know that the day is going to be heavier, of course, maybe we are going to stack crafting more or something like that. So we're always going to keep in mind everybody's well-being, for sure. Mm-hmm. Anything else? Questions, comments? Yes?
I just had one comment, is that I'm Debbie Boykin and I'm doing the first aid station. Is the two main things that people come to us for, well, three main, is they're dehydrated or they have history of hypoglycemia. So if you know that you have hypoglycemia, keep a snack in your pocket or something like that. And like you said about the craft services, we'll have plenty of things for you to snack on, but we want you to, we want to be proactive instead of reactive, just to get your blood sugar up. So and I know there are a lot of people that have that. So keep that in mind, is to make sure that you stay hydrated and keep your blood sugar up.
True. Sometimes when you're working, you're so busy working, you forget to drink water, or of course, if you have a problem like that, you forget to keep a snack. But maybe every morning you can just grab something, put it in your pocket, like Debbie said. And of course, every couple of hours, please stop and get some water. Because even if you're not thirsty, then you're gonna feel it at some point, and it's not fun.
And we'll have stuff to treat that, but we'd rather be proactive and prevent it instead of treating it after the
Prevention
fact.
instead of treatment. Perfect. Thank you, Debbie. That's a good note for everybody.
Okay, guys. Thank you guys again so much for being here. We could not do it without you, as Ken and David mentioned earlier, and Gloriana, and this is when things start to get really exciting, so the buzz is in the air. Before we get started, I don't know if you guys saw, we were on CBS this week. That was really cool. The Virginia This Morning show, RBA News came out with a great article, and then Richmond Magazine, the June issue, had an extensive article kind of looking at the film industry in Virginia as a whole. And many, many members of our team were featured in that. So good stuff is happening already. All right, so we're going to do a presentation here this morning. One of the things that's special about shooting the Prodigal is we're kind of getting on this brand new trend in the industry called audience engagement. And as you can see, I've got some notes up there you can read, and I'll try and kind of just touch on the important ones. But audience engagement has become critical to a film getting distribution. It used to be standard marketing, and now it's really about, before you even start shooting, trying to build devices and mechanisms so that you can find your audience, connect with your audience. And as you guys know, with technology, there's so many different platforms now to get content. And so producers are scrambling, trying to get their film that's been made to the silver screen, and in order to do so, it's very competitive. A distributor really wants to see a built-in audience. So we're getting in on kind of the very beginning of this trend, which is exciting. I'll be heading up, it's one of the things I'll be heading up. But it really is going to be a group effort with all of our interns, volunteers, even our cast and our crew, our donors, everybody at Bell Tower Pictures. And so I'm going to spend a few minutes today kind of going over what that's going to look like, and also then show you a quick demo of our new Shooting the Prodigal film website, which actually launches today. And then lastly, go over the campaign itself. I won't go too extensive, but it'll at least give you an idea of some of the themes and ways that we're going to be trying to connect with our audience. And lastly, where you guys come in, how you can tune in. And in fact, before we leave today, we're going to have a social media craze for about 20 minutes where we're going to go through and kind of train everybody on how to invite people to like our page, how to share, and do all that fun stuff. So, what is audience engagement? We just went over that. This is really all about marketing and distribution. How do we engage? What we're going to be doing is a number of different things. One is just grassroots engagement. Another one is things like press and marketing and publicity. And then finally bringing content around the themes that are in the film, themes of love, grace, acceptance. This is something I think is really cool because, and Shooting the Prodigal is a perfect film for us to really take a stab at this audience engagement thing, because the film itself has a lot of high quality content and important messages that we can take and open up, generate dialogue with those that are following us and interested about the film itself. Let's move on. So, what we will be doing is, I'll go over the campaign here in a few minutes, but that will be launched starting next week. Having all of us sort of in this together, we're asking our crew, cast, everybody, all of us to begin using social media to tweet and do Facebook posts once a day. You guys probably saw in your agreements and some of the paperwork that was really a part of our desire. So that's going to be a big part of it. You can see Variety had an article, and this is kind of their take on it, which explains how important just social media is to audience engagement. It says Facebook is a good indicator for fan awareness for a movie, even months before the release. Then it talks about YouTube. Man, my eyes are getting bad. Where's my glasses? So it talks about YouTube and getting those hits and sharing videos on YouTube. How critical that is in order to build a mass audience around your film, and then in turn that would lead to hopefully distribution, which is our end goal. Searching just through the Google and online, Shooting the Prodigal, faith-based film, Shooting the Prodigal, a lot of different things like that. All the crawlers sort of come back to that. So that's always a great thing to do if you are bored one day at home. Oh, let's just do a few searches on Google about the film itself. All of that is picked up, and it's also a great indicator about how many people are following what you're doing. In addition to using social media, we're doing traditional things like, establishing relationships with opinion leaders that really count. For Shooting the Prodigal, this is a really important thing for us to do, because we hope that this will be one of several films to come that we produce through Bell Tower Pictures. There are a lot of different groups that we can reach out to, which I'm already in the process of doing. Church leaders across Virginia. Some of them have already been called, and we've got a huge, massive following and support system built in already. But then we're not going to stop there. We really want, through our audience engagement strategies, we really want to be a bridge builder. We want to be a change agent. At the end of the day, David's written, a script that is funny, it's quirky, it has some incredibly entertaining characters, which I personally think is very rare for the faith-based genre. So we're already turning people's heads just based on that alone. He's given us a lot to work with. And I think also, too, at the end of the day, because we are presenting the film in a way that we want to entertain and we want to impact people, but we don't want to beat anybody over the head with, a Bible at the end of the day. This is really about bringing people together despite our differences. It's about us looking for commonalities, and that's really at the heart of the story. And so while, we hope people, come and see this film that are comedy lovers, that aren't Christians, but we also hope, people of different faiths come and look at this film, or maybe they don't have any faith at all. But all of our strategies with the audience engagement are kind of tying into that. You'll see some of our content that's kind of running off themes of love, and we'll present them in a way that maybe sounds like it's Christian. But then we also want to reach those that may not otherwise follow a blog, let's say, a faith-based blog. So we want to open up the discussion ultimately so that it's multi-directional, not just the traditional way of audience engagement is just from me to you. Let's start a discussion. I want you to follow, our film. We want you to go see it once it comes out. That's unidirectional. What we're really doing with our campaign is a little bit unique in that we are trying to set up different forms, different ways of communicating so that other people can communicate with each other too, and us to them. So then it's multi-directional, and really I think will carry a much larger impact in the long run. So those are some of the things that we'll be doing. I'm going to go through next some specifics about what our slogan is, what our theme of the entire audience engagement campaign. So, going back over, our goals are, we have a few key goals. One is really to inspire people to get involved and join the discussions that we put out, and if we stir up a little controversy, we might do that because anytime people from all walks of life come together, there's going to be differences of opinions, and I've just learned how to accept anything but my opinion. I don't know, it was a couple of weeks ago. So, but we want that. We want the discussion to be lively and for it to be inclusive. So that's very important in terms of what we try and I think all of us share, via social media, apart from what I'm doing behind the scenes. Secondly, it of course it will also build that strong base and help drive more followers to Twitter and Facebook and our website and our blog series. And then lastly is what I mentioned earlier. We really want the campaign to be a bridge builder. So what I've done is, I tried to kind of look back at the themes that were going on in the story, our script, and come up with something that would give us a good indication of something that's in the script, but yet be obscure enough to raise questions. And what we chose was the slogan, "The One." Now, you can see the reason why I went with this, and you're going to see this and hear this everywhere. The blog series is named "The One." We'll have merchandise coming out with "The One." But I really chose it based on a few things. First, we believe, just like the parable in shooting the prodigal, the father leaves the house to go after what? The one. Yeah, the lost son, the one. So it applies to that. And secondly, we believe, or I believe, and some of you may too, but this is at the heart of the message, that love does begin and end with God, who is the one. Okay? And then thirdly, I don't know if I have this one in here. So it goes on to say, it's also a unifying concept that together we are one. Despite, religious differences or social choices or race or anything, at the end of the day, the one is a unifying concept, and that's the message that we want to send through the film. And lastly, I would just say, it's also, you know, I've asked a few people for my teenage daughter, what, you know, when I say the one, what do you think about the one? To girlfriends of mine, to colleagues, and everybody, when I say the one, they all, it's very interesting, come back with something different as to what the one means to them. Last night, as a matter of fact, I was talking to a girlfriend of mine, and her response was, it's finding the one, you know, your soulmate. That's what it is. And I was like, well, that is actually a big part of it too. And so one of the things that we'll be doing is, we're going to be doing a web series around, has anybody read the script? And a lot of, okay. Well, in the script, Missy, the older daughter of of Emily, is mentioned in the script. That's Brother Bob's oldest daughter, but you never see her. And so at one point in time when David was writing the earlier drafts of the script, she was actually in it and she got cut. But he loved her so much, he was like, Heather, can you do something with her? I was like, oh, I don't know. So we talked, and what we decided to do was to do a fun web series around Missy. So what's going to happen is Missy's in Richmond. She's kind of the cynical, you know, smart. She's a lawyer daughter in Richmond here, but she's alienated from her father, and so their relationship has kind of been severed. And Emily's kind of the one that he has stayed in contact with. So, but Missy's also, because of her cynicism, she can't find love. And so she goes through all these different relationships, and she's got her work, that's her love. Well, she's going to catch wind that they're shooting. She gets an anonymous call that this crazy film is going on, and that there is somebody, her soulmate, the one is there. And so that kind of sets up Missy leaving Richmond and showing up on the set. And so what you're going to see, for those of you who are doing production on the set, is you're going to see me shooting 2 different films behind the actual production itself going on. One will be Missy kind of bouncing around, you know, sort of looking out of the corner of her eye at what's going on, and then looking for this love who she's, you know, desperate to find, and finally she's going to meet him. And then the cynicism, in that we're going to turn it into a web series where she's going to pick up on some of the content in the campaign itself and talk about some of the issues like false piety and institutionalism and does the church even exist? But it's going to be done in a very comical, fun way. And so, but her little thread will be that romantic thread. And in the end, what's going to happen, it'll come full circle in the web series. And she bumps into her, she hears the voice of the caller, and she turns around and bumps into her father, and her father was the one. So they're reunited, father and daughter. So that is the web series. I don't know of another film production that's done a web series at the same time, so that is something really cool. It's going to be fun and unique. We're going to need help pushing it out. Each week we'll release like a 3-minute webisode, and you'll hear from me or one of my production interns or folks that are working with me. All right, here's the link. Now go, like it, share it, and so we'll be asking you guys to help us plug in. So that's kind of fun and exciting. And next on the one, another part of really spreading the word is, as you guys know, merchandising. So we're hoping that one is obscure enough and cool enough, yet it has enough substance that people will want to, you know, get t-shirts and coffee mugs and visors and just merchandise to wear with the one on it. And that, of course, helps us brand our film. And it plays into the movement that we're trying to create. And so people will ask questions like, what is the one? You know, so it's all about asking questions and people's curiosity being piqued. And so I want to share that with you guys so you know a little bit about what to say when you're asked, because you probably will be asked along the way. So the campaign itself will start next week, and it'll go on a weekly basis for about 8 to 10 weeks with a specific written blog around a topic, which you'll see in a second, that relates to the one. And then we're also doing a video blog, which is kind of another cool thing. We wanted to figure out a way, this is an interesting film in that it's a church, it's a film about a church shooting a film, and then you have another layer of production going on that we'll be doing with the behind the scenes, shooting the church, shooting the film, and then you're gonna have the web series. So you've got 4 different mini productions, and we also wanted to open this up to everybody else. So we created a video blog, which you'll see in a second once I show you the website, where they can read the content of the week, and they can see a short intro, a video. So each week I'll choose like a surprise cast member, or crew member, or volunteer, or intern to shoot a video intro based on the theme. And then we are giving a call to action. We're asking people to take what they read and shoot their own video response and then upload it to our YouTube channel. And so that is a way where people can see and share each other's ideas, and we can keep the conversation and the dialogue going. All right, then we're gonna do stuff like social media giveaways, like competitions. Everybody loves to get something free, and everybody loves a good competition. I know I do. So each week, we'll probably have a variety of different things that'll be altered throughout the course of the campaign. But that will be a part of, if it's liked or shared by X number of people, they get a free The One t-shirt or coffee mug. Different things, but they will all be about, again, spreading our message. So that'll be fun. Resource affiliates, we don't need to go over that. So now let's go on to the themes. So the one is our big slogan of the entire film. It is our blog, our written blog, and our video blog series. This gives you an example of what each of the weeks will entail. We start off with the one, which you'll see in a minute when I show you the website, which is kind of an overview. It's the starting point, and I explained that a little bit earlier. Week 2 is Be the One Who Loves and Not Judges, and the discussion that week will be on how exactly do we do that? How do we look for those shared interests and commonalities? Week 3 is Engage the One, and that's despite the rules or the differences of opinions that we have. So the blog theme that week will be on that. Week 4, Experience the One. And, part of the film, the story is really about, Brother Bob trying to walk in his father's shadows to do something that really may not be his dream per se. So he's just going, trying to produce, oftentimes what other people want versus listening to his heart. And so through the evolution of the film, we see him go through a beautiful transformation where he kind of comes home to himself, of 30 years ago, and really figures out who he is and what he wants, separate of his father or congregation. And there's a beautiful simplicity in that. So this week will be focused on that. How do we shut out the noise and get back to simple living and communicate through our heart? So that's just a sampling. 8 to 10 weeks will be themed out like that, and so we need heavy promotion and sharing and involvement with all of us. After that, we'll continue through the course of the year, actually, but it'll kind of lighten out a little bit, and then it's just keeping the buzz going. All right, and you can see who's our audience. Of course, we have the faith-based audience. Then we have the audience of the dones and nuns, which I mentioned earlier. That could be non-believers, agnostics, the naysayers, politic and society lovers, people that just want to, sort of observe what we're doing, which is a little bit different. And then people that just love great film or comedy. So that's a pretty wide audience that we can reach out to. The reason why I mention that to you guys is because before we finish later today, we're going to get on Facebook and walk through, and everybody, either on your laptop or your iPad or whatever device, your phone, we're going to start doing invite likes today together so that we get a good head start. We've already begun, and I think We've got almost 600 likes on Facebook, which is pretty impressive, in a few weeks. We want that to get to 1,000 by tomorrow. But the reason why I share that we have a wide audience is I was actually inviting a bunch of my friends via social media, and I started with, and I didn't even realize I was doing this, but just inviting my fellow Christian friends. And then I thought, well, actually, I'm in the film industry. I should invite my film friends. So I started inviting them. And then I saw all these people responding, and I thought, there are a million different reasons why somebody would be interested in what I'm doing. And so then I invited almost my whole friend list because, I discovered that people, I don't like to plaster stuff that I'm doing out there, but really Facebook, that's what it's about. They want to hear what you're involved in, what you're working on. And so I encourage you guys, once we get to that point, to try and keep an open mind like that too. Other things that we're going to be doing, the social media-thon that's going to come later today. We also love to have a dedicated call center day, and I've, haven't started coordinating this yet. The Virginia churches have already, they've got a huge head start on those. But we also want to reach out to various denominational organizations and nonprofits and mega churches and try to get them involved. All of the blog writers and they cover a ton of topics. And so one of the things that we've already been working on is creating a master list of, right now we're at like 250. Kristen's been helping out, but we want that to grow. And then it's about really just creating and carving out relationships. So one day, we're handling the email and online right now. One day we will probably do a call center. So if anybody's interested in coming in for 2 or 3 hours and being a part of that, see me afterwards. I'd love to, we're gonna need some volunteers and help with that for sure. And then the other thing that I think would be fun to do, I love collaboration and think tanks and roundtable discussions. And so I'm thinking about doing a creative think tank. We've got a lot of, in fact, a massive amount of things ahead of us to do. But there's some components of the campaign or what we're doing through the video blog series that I may be missing. And so I'd love to hear from you guys and welcome you either to be a part of a think tank one afternoon with me, or at the very least, if you think of something, email me. I get a lot of emails right now on a daily basis, so it may take 24 hours or whatever for me to get back from you, but I really do want to hear from you, especially if you have good ideas that we need to consider. All right, and now let's just go through the demo of the website. All right, so this is actually being launched officially today. So this was very good timing. You can see this is our home page. Homer, Alabama is where the story is set. These are our main cast. We have Paul Wilson as Brother Bob, Sterling Hurst as Josh Bloom, Joseph Gray as Noah, Christy as Emily, and Micah as Garth. Uh-oh, I see a boo-boo there. All right. If you go down here, the photo gallery, if you click on this right now takes you to our Facebook gallery. We're still building out pictures, but eventually you'll be able to catch a lot of behind-the-scenes stills. View and share your ideas. I'll go there in a second. That is our video blog series. And contact. We always want to hear from folks. And this is kind of cool. If you keep scrolling down on this home page, you can then check out all of the latest things and posts that are being put up on Facebook and our YouTube channel and Twitter. So, for example, it looks like, I'm not sure who posted that, probably our web designer on the top. But if you go in the middle here, this was posted yesterday. This was our appearance on Virginia This Morning. And you click on that, it takes you to it. You can watch it from there. These are picking up tweets, our latest tweets. This is kind of scary looking. It was a photo that was attached to the feature article in Richmond Magazine. Nothing we can do about that. But the article itself is really fantastic. I encourage you guys to read it. RBA News article. So this is great in the sense of, one, as you guys get on, I would encourage everybody to log on to the website daily and see what's going on. You'll be able to check out all of your fellow cast, crew, volunteer, interns right here, the latest posts, tweets, and even the video blog uploads through our YouTube channel. This is from our casting section there on the left and lots of other stuff. All right, so let's go over here. If you go to the About, this is just about the story and players. This is some of our key crew folks. If you click, got their bio. So you guys can check that out if you want. And then our cast. Now we have a little bit more of them. So this is all of our larger roles. As David mentioned earlier, we have like 43 or 44, but these are the folks that are playing the leads and principals. Daphne and Tim Reed came on this week, and I don't know if some of you know them. They're doing cameos, which is fun. All right, and then we go to our partner page. That's messed up a little bit. All right, so here on the top, these, and we're adding to this, because the website is just being launched this week. But these are the folks that are praying or giving some kind of support in some way. And what we really wanted to do was build a website that could be interactive and also give back to the community. So let's say we have somebody that's taking part in our video blog series and they live in, Atlanta, Georgia, and they don't have a church home, or they're looking for more information. We hope that eventually we're going to have enough links on here that they just click that link and suddenly they're connected with somebody in their area. If you scroll down even further, you click here, and this is a list of our donors for the film. That takes you to Bell Tower Pictures page. And then they can become a partner. So this is awesome. If you know anybody who wants to plug in with us, a church, an organization, please encourage them to go to the website, see the partner page. All they have to do is click on Become a Partner, fill out the form. It goes to Barbara and myself, and we'll get in touch with them. All right, and then lastly, the fun one. Here's our blog. This is a sampling of what it's going to look like each week. All right, so the how. You view, you share, and you upload the video response. That's kind of the chain that we're sending them through. So this on the left is our weekly blog that will change out, and this is the intro that I was mentioning earlier. So let's take a quick look at David, see what David has to say.
I've spent my life in the church. I grew up in the church, and I'm a church person. I'm a Christian, and I love being a part of the church. It's been a part of my life all my life. But the institution of the church is a diminishing institution in the United States, has been in Europe and a lot of portions of the world, and part of it for good reason. Folks are not as interested in institutions as they were in my parents' generation, for example. And then there's been a lot of pushback against the Christian faith, and a lot of it has been well earned. There was a research project done several years ago that said that folks mostly see Christians as judgmental, hypocritical, homophobic, too focused on politics, too focused on money. And I read that, and I looked around my church, and I looked in the mirror, and I saw judgmental, hypocritical, all of those things. And because we're human, and being a Christian does not mean that you stop being human. And so I began to wonder, is there a way to tell a story that would shed a little light and hope and laughter in the judgmental, snarky kind of world where there's black and white and there's not a lot of coming together. Interestingly, the one is the us. I think all of us together make up the one. It's God's Spirit living within and among all of us. No one of us has a corner on the truth and wisdom. But as we live together and love and respect and honor one another, love one another, then we begin to sense that family spirit, and we are truly one together. Okay, so now it's your turn. Get out your iPhone or Android or whatever you've got and record a little video and tell your story about a time that you have been bullied or pigeonholed because of your views on some issue. How has that made you feel, and what maybe you really wanted to do was just connect on a one-to-one level with somebody?
So that was the intro, and here on the left is that week one theme. So it kind of expands on the intro, and then at the bottom, that picture's going to be a little smaller. At the bottom, you see an upload your video, you click on it, and it takes you to the YouTube channel. Okay? So over here on the right is going to be our previous videos. So, and blogs and links so that people, if they missed week 1 or 2, they'll be able to get the archived copies there to watch and respond. So this is really the foundation of our audience engagement content side. At the bottom, I forgot to mention this, we also wanted folks to have tools to walk away from so that, we understand we're just introducing the topics and asking people to have fun and engage with us on some of these themes. But if folks need more information, they can simply click on Judy Bloom and it goes straight to her website, where often they have a lot of, they have video series and some other things. So that is really the heart of the campaign, and that is one of the pages that we hope you guys get really familiar with and really involved with. In fact, I would love to ask everybody, all of us, to sometime this weekend record our first video responses from you guys so we can really start building out the YouTube channel, because we want to hear from you guys too. We want this to be a cool experience for all of us. So there's that part of it, but in addition to that, it will help sort of get us off to a big launch on Monday when we really kick this thing off. So let's go back to where we were. All right, last but not least, the last 20 minutes or so, we're going to go to our, I don't think we need to go to our Twitter. Maybe we should go to our Twitter. We'll go to our Twitter first. I want to point out one really important thing here. Let me go back to the website. Anthony has created, our developers, some hashtags all around the one, and I think they can be found on the homepage. Let's go back there. So use these hashtags in your social media posts, and it gives several of them there. Those are the ones we really want to be targeting so that we can build a lot of energy and excitement around those and sort of bring folks together around those and see what kind of audience we can build. Now from here, we can go to the maybe not from this page. Anybody see the Facebook link? Am I looking at it? Well, I know I can do it this way. Let's try this. Scroll up. Let's go to Twitter first. How about this? I think he's got them connected to our Twitter, no? Yeah. Okay, great. Ellen, yay! You get a free t-shirt when it comes out. No. Awesome. So she's already going at the tweeting, which is fantastic. Thank you so much. So guys, y'all know how to use hashtags. If you have any questions, let's talk afterwards, and we can all together try and figure out the best way to do it. But it's pretty simple and straightforward on that side. And daily is awesome. Multiple times daily is welcome too. All right, so let's check out our Facebook page. And at this time, before I go there, if you guys have your computers, this is the time we're going to go through and actually do a quick demo of how to like. And we're going to spend 15 minutes doing a Facebook challenge for all of us to invite at least 30, 35 friends. So go ahead and get your computer out real quick, log on to your Facebook. Wow, see, we're making progress. Big shout out to Kristen, who's been helping me work on our Twitter and Facebook likes this week by contacting some of those people on our master. So we've gotten some this week. I think by the end of tonight, we'll hopefully with all of us, by the time we're done here, have over 1,000, I think, which is awesome going into production. Also, a big shout out to Woody. Can you raise your hand too, Woody? Woody has been helping out. He did the blog series video for us, and he's also working on a pitch video as well, him and Kristen, for a crowdfunding campaign we're doing, and they've been doing an awesome job. So I'm going to go to the page. First, the first thing you want to do is, in your search field, put Shooting the Prodigal up there where I'm doing it right now. That will take you to our films. Note that we have two different Facebook pages. We have Bell Tower Pictures, and then we have Shooting the Prodigal. We're just working with Shooting the Prodigal right now. We'll go back later, because it'd be great if all of you just like Bell Tower as well. So once you put that in, it's going to take you to our page, and you want to hit like first on your end. Maybe we're overloading the system, huh? Yours is working okay? Yeah? Okay, there we go.
Shooting the Prodigal, is there any spaces between those words or capitalization?
Well, if you put it in your search field, you can, it should come up for you, but in the actual URL, there's not. It's shooting, yeah, you got it. Okay. If I can ever get there, mine's moving slower, I think.
635.
Huh?
We're moving up. 635.
Woohoo! We're making progress, guys. All right, what is going on here? Get me back. All right, here we go. Let's try that. Okay, there we are. Okay, so did everybody see how to like it right there? All right, so once you've done that, if you scroll down a little bit, whoa, come on down for me. Maybe, there we go. And on the left-hand side, you can see 637 plus 78 this week. I can actually see my friends. This is kind of fun to track. The people that I invite to like, I can actually go back and see Shannon plus 195 other of my friends. So you can see I invited a lot of people, but even those people that, you know, may have not a lot in common with what they're doing, they're still interested, I think, and so that's a lot of people responding. So on yours, you then go down, it says invite friends to this page. Click on that, and let the fun begin. You'll see this window open up, and I want, if we can all just choose, what I did is I went through and I invited like 100 people a day, and usually people start. You can either search for all friends right here on this window, or you can scroll down if you've got categories. So let's just go through that, guys, and I'm going to turn on David and give us a little ambiance. And for the next 10 minutes, we'll just go through, give you guys time to invite as many people as possible, and then I'll call us out at 10 minutes once we're done. Thank you for bringing that up. There are a lot of people that don't have a Twitter or Facebook account, so that is a wonderful idea. If you guys can email your circle just the Twitter account, and you can get that straight from the Facebook once you find it on there. Just copy it right here, for example, Control C, and then pull it back, do the same thing in Twitter, and you can email it out to folks if they don't have social media accounts. Or if you don't, I mean. Thank you. Anybody else? There was another hand. Was it? Yeah.
Yeah, this is actually more of a logistics thing. You said we'll be filming a web series at the same time as shooting the thing. Will we know ahead of time what days will be that we'll have to know that we'll also be doing the web series in addition to our regular work?
Yeah, when I say that, we will as a whole, not everybody will be a part of that, because they couldn't handle us on set. So if you are interested in being a part of the production of the web series or the behind the scenes production, those are also my areas of producing. So email me or your coordinator, Brandon, and he'll get emails to me, and maybe I can bring you in on those days, or anybody else that's interested. Anybody else? Awesome, guys. I can't say how excited I am to work with each of you. Thank you again. I'm going to turn it back over to Gloriana. If you have any other questions going forward, you can email those to Brandon and he'll get them to me. Anybody that wants to work on marketing, distribution, audience engagement, funding stuff, general producing, or the production side, I'd love to hear from you too. Thank you, guys.
That concludes pretty much our orientation for today. A few final things. So you guys now have a department that you might be paired with. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna double check with all of department heads if they got more people that they needed or less people that they needed, and we're gonna see what's gonna happen, what everybody's going to decide. We will email you a confirmation, or that department head will email you a confirmation that you will be in that department, and they'll give you a little more guidance as to what the next steps are. Before you leave today, however, we want to have like an organized list of everybody updated with the people that actually came today. So if you guys can check in with Elizabeth, and Elizabeth, would you mind raising your hand? Before you leave, everybody just tell her your name and your department that you're assigned to. If you are an intern, please check in with Patty. You see her raising her hand? I think we have around 14 interns. Interns, check with Elizabeth to tell her what department you're in, but also check with Patty to identify yourself as an intern before you leave. So basically, before everybody leaves this room, please check with Elizabeth, and also if you're an intern, also check with Patty.
I
Yes.
want to see all the interns as a group, if I may.
Okay, can the interns raise their hands? Are 14, 15 interns? All right, great. So go ahead and first talk to Elizabeth, tell her what department you have been assigned to, and then everybody please go meet Patty at that table over there because she needs to talk to you. Also, if you are standing, please stay to talk to me. Stand-ins, stay to talk to me before you leave. And that is all. If anybody has any final questions, you're welcome to ask now. And if not, thank you so much, and we'll see you on set. Thank you.